You are in for a treat today because we just sat here for the last few hours finding some pretty cool examples for you that I think is really, really inspiring. So what we want to talk about today is how we say 10x, but really a lot more than that.
Yeah.
10x our income from our blogs because of YouTube. There are a lot of great ways to drive traffic with Pinterest and Quora and different things, Reddit. But YouTube is the one that's not just driving traffic for us, it's driving revenue. And we want to show you some real numbers on that.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, we had a video where we talked about Embora Pets, one of our newer websites. And because of that YouTube video, there was a huge spike in traffic on the site. But you might think, okay, yeah, a spike in traffic is great, but what does it do for me in the long run? Well, actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
You take a look at the analytics, and after that spike, traffic is indefinitely better after that. By about what, 20%?
Yeah. So, it's pretty flatline, consistent before. We see this, 17,000 people that see the video and go to the website. But it's this that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
The before for you guys and the after. It's those, whatever the spike is temporary, that is what I'm interested in.
Right.
Because that is showing that you can really drive a blog success by sending that YouTube traffic over to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want to talk about 4 different ways that this is helpful. So we've seen how the traffic spike can help, but that's just temporary. So let's look at the next one. You can rank for impossible topics on YouTube so easily. So let's look at a few examples of this. So the first one is, how much does an African safari cost? So if you look at the Google results of that, if you had written just a blog post on that, I would say that's a pretty competitive topic. It's not impossible to win, but I wouldn't write that article on a brand new website. And the reason I say that is, let's look at these rankings. So we're seeing this when we Google, look how many sites I recognize the name of, or they're at least very on point sites about the topic. And these articles are exactly on point, right? So I'm really just throwing my hat in the ring with one more article on the same topic. Now look at the YouTube side for the exact same search. And a lot of searches are originating in YouTube these days. And here we see kind of one video that's on point, that is very old. And then that's it. Everything else is about African safaris, but it's not really about the cost. It's not really what I had searched. And that's an awesome recipe. So we see so many of these where it's not impossible, but really tough to rank the blog post. But it's wild, wild west on YouTube.
Right. So let's look at a couple more examples. You look up how to choose an OBGYN. We're trying to get a little bit more, broaden our horizons with...
We do too many manly examples.
Yeah. Jim was like, let's see, what's something a woman would look up? So anyway, so you search how to choose an OBGYN. On Google, huge topic. You see all of these medical websites, huge
WebMD,
authority sites. Yeah,
huge.
So then you go over to YouTube though, and really nothing's even on topic. And if it is, the views just aren't that great.
Yeah, you look halfway down the page and then it's just like, meet Dr. Julie. And it's just like, what? This doesn't help me choose an OBGYN.
Yeah.
So that again is an excellent recipe. Are people searching this? Yeah, absolutely, millions of them a year. And yet there just isn't great content to show them. And as more searches originate on YouTube, and I think we can all see that YouTube is going that way, gaining more traffic, that is just going to be more and more powerful of a video. All right, the next one is one that we actually did on one of our own sites. So on a brand new site, when Camper Report was small, I tried to write, what's the difference between a Class A and Class C? So the actual search was Class A versus Class C RV, somebody trying to choose between the two. On the blog side, extremely competitive. I went ahead and wrote it anyway because I also made a YouTube video on the topic. And because that video could drive traffic to our listings, we actually did appear in the search. Now, we didn't get to number 1, but we do have 3 pieces of content from Camp Report on that search page, and I think that's how it happens.
Yeah, so if you can picture this, you're writing your hit list for your blog, or for people who haven't watched our channel before, your list of articles that you're going to write for your blog. If you can picture thinking of a blog post that would be an awesome topic, but you're like, it's just too competitive. Go to YouTube, see what the competition is there. In almost every case, the competition is so far less that even with a new channel, you're going to be able to rank. So like Jim said, the formula is you go to YouTube, make that video, and then all of a sudden this blog post that was so unachievable, because you have this presence on YouTube, the one on your blog is going to rank a lot faster as well.
Okay, one more. Top 10 zone. Oh,
Jim
so
hates this.
It drives me crazy. So go and look at this in another tab right now. It's the top 10 zone YouTube channel. Nobody's even talking in the videos. They're just using stock video footage from the companies of their product, and then they're just putting on a title between each. They're just picking 10 random products that they've probably never even touched, and they're just showing random stock video footage from the marketing departments of these different companies. The videos are horrible. If you ever attempted to do something like that in the blogging world, you would get crushed. You would absolutely get dominated. And yet, look at this channel. Look at the channel. It's got subscribers. It's getting views. It's even getting likes on the videos somehow. And you wonder, like, how did that happen? And it's because they're coming up all the time. I'm seeing this channel popping up. Like, you know, you search best pontoon boats or whatever, and they show up as the number 1 there. Not because it's the best video that somebody could make on this, walking somebody through the purchasing decision, but because, like, it's the only video that kind of is showing you a wide variety of several different pontoon boats that you could then go research into. When we were talking about this, it just makes my head explode from the opportunity that's there, because this is an extremely affiliate heavy kind of website. You know, you could never rank easily for, you know, best vacuums in blog posts. But if you build this kind of channel and you get a lot of subs, well, maybe you actually can make that kind of video.
Yeah.
Oh, the opportunity is crazy.
So you could go toe to toe with someone like Top 10 Zone pretty easily.
Yeah, like just go buy the top 10 things.
Yeah. And because the model is so heavy on selling affiliate products, putting the link in the description, people are actually going to click that link, and you're going to make a lot more money as well on a channel like that. So great opportunity.
All right, now that's kind of the next one that we were talking about. The number 3 reason is the ability to sell affiliate products, like we were just mentioning, but also online courses. We got to do the math on blogs. I should say, blogs can earn a lot of money very passively, more passively than YouTube can. They work wonderfully. You should build them. But if we're talking only about selling online courses, I would much rather have a small YouTube channel than even a big blog. If all we're talking about is selling online courses. And the reason is the math. When I Google something, I come to random dude's blog post or random dudette's blog post, and I read it and they say, hey, I have an online course in this topic. And I say, cool. 2% of them will go from that blog post to the sales page. And I'm saying this just, that's about what we would see. Obviously, it could be 10%, could be half of 1%, but it's pretty normal to see about 2% go from that blog post to the sales page. Then from the sales page, let's say about 2% of those people buy. That's a little bit of depressing math. So if your end game is sell an online course, you need to develop some rapport with the person. And video is a great way to do that. In fact, one thing that we're really wanting to experiment with is, what if we send the cold traffic from a blog to a page on your website where you have a webinar? And on that webinar, you sell your online course, so that we can add in video from that cold traffic on the blog. That I could be interested in. But either way, when somebody sees you, hears you, can trust you, they're just way more likely. The conversion rate is much higher from that video format. So if, again, we're talking about a narrow thing, if you're just talking about selling online courses, a video is an excellent format for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's move on to Eat. This is something we've been talking a lot about lately because Google's most recent updates are so heavy on this. So let's talk about it. How do we increase our authority on our websites with YouTube?
Yeah, so what's been happening is Google has been making a series of changes to Google's algorithm and making it very hard for someone to rank if you don't have that authoritativeness in your niche. Now, don't draw unrealistic conclusions from that. I mean, if I'm, writing about travel to Egypt and I've been there, I don't have to be like, the U.S. diplomat to Egypt to be able to write about it. That's not what we're talking about. We're on authority. Just somebody that says, people trust this person.
Sure.
That's what Google is looking for. And now, if you just have a blog, that's difficult to establish. If you have a lot of links from other websites to your about page, then Google says, okay, this is somebody important. If you've written a book that you've linked out to from your site saying, hey, I've written a book on this topic, that kind of thing is going to develop Eat. That's kind of hard to do. But if you have a YouTube channel as well, where Google can say, oh yeah, this is a pillar of the industry. This guy's got an audience. People come every week to watch his videos. This person has authoritativeness, and this is his blog. These sites are linked. That's great, and that's what we're doing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful end run around Eat because it's such an easy way to get going to establish authoritativeness, even if you're new to a particular industry. So start a YouTube channel, even if your primary goal is building the blog.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where on Google, you have to have at least some type of authority on a topic to be able to write blog posts credibly. And that's a good thing for the most part.
It's even good for new people.
Right.
Because it keeps out the spammers.
Exactly.
You can establish authority even if you're new in the industry, even if you're not an expert in the topic. It keeps out the spam.
Yeah, it just means that we have to work harder as bloggers to develop that authority, to say to Google, I'm not a spammer. So one way to do that, one of the best ways we found so far is through a YouTube channel.
We have a course on YouTube, and we can walk you through exactly how to get started in an intelligent way. And that's in our Project 24 course. Project 24 is our course where we take you in a period of 24 months where you have a goal of earning a full-time income from your online internet marketing efforts. We have a webinar that'll walk you through what it looks like to at least start a blog in that industry and get going with Project 24. So check out that webinar here, and it'll kind of walk you through what that timeline might look like.